We have always balanced the growth that we have with the need to engage the private sector. The private sector has always been the foundation of making things happen in Houston. Partnerships between the public and the private sector have been a means of getting things done in Houston. Houston, if you look at the city seal, has a locomotive on it. Because if you go to the history of Houston, when the Allen brothers first formed it on the confluence of the Buffalo Bayou, White Oak Bayou was an area where trading began, and on Allen's Landing there are markers today of where cotton trading used to occur in the city at the very beginnings of the city. The results of all of these historic precedents and the investments in the future has been today Houston is the largest exporting city in the United States. We're also the largest importing city in the United States because the very nature of the businesses that exist in Houston depend on international trade. The mayor has talked in the past on the importance of trade business, medical business, and the oil and gas business, all of which know no national or international boundaries, all of which depend for their vibrancy and profitability for success on trade. Within the city, we recognize the importance of mobility. Houston is prone to flooding. We have in fact spent a great deal of time dealing with mobility in times of bad weather. Houston has a need, because of the very rapid growth that we've had, to continuously re-improve our infrastructure, our road systems. At times, that's required us to go to the public and talk about the need to expend public dollars in the infrastructure of the city.
How much?
In 2011, the citizens of Houston concluded that it was time to tax themselves to enhance both the mobility and the drainage in the system. Something entirely unlike what was going on elsewhere in the United States at that time. I think the key that I've heard said here also is the recognition that one needs to engage the private sector, needs to engage the citizens in the recognition that infrastructure is absolutely critical for everybody's day-to-day success. I would add that the element that this administration has focused on additionally is the recognition that all of these businesses will only prosper if the quality of life in the city attracts and retains the best and brightest to make companies operate. We have focused heavily on not only concrete in the roads, but park systems, other mobility systems that really lead to attracting people. Again, we went to the citizens of Houston 2 years ago and talked about investing over $200 million in a trail system and a bike system to move ourselves towards a quality of life that is unmatched elsewhere in terms of access. We've brought together a concept called complete streets in the city of Houston. A concept that not only do we worry about trucks and automobiles, but we worry about bikes, we worry about pedestrian access to ensure that people feel, as described here in Barranquilla, that this is a place people want to live, want to inhabit, and want to prosper in doing it. We know, and that is why this is the 8th trade mission that the mayor has been on in these 5 years that she's been in office, that business best occurs face to face. We have an obligation and a desire to reach out to other parts of the world to make sure all understand as the mayor closed in her comment, that Houston is open for business. We believe we are an inviting place for people to invest, but at the same time, I would add that we also recognize on these trade missions, the trade is a two-way street. When we bring companies with us on trade missions, our message is one that we're interested in both people investing in Houston, but similarly, we bring investors that are interested in investing in the countries in which we visit. Certainly, this first trip to Colombia should demonstrate that we have real interest. Yesterday in Bogota, we had a networking session, which I've heard numerous comments of people that are interested in further mutual trade. I would encourage us all to do the same thing here. We are interested in business. Colombia is so close to Houston and has so many similarities to what we're doing. And you will hear more from our port and our airport people on how we can make those connections even better for all. Thank you very much.